All right, we are live. Good morning, everybody. I am Vino Duraisamy, a developer advocate at Snowflake. And in this week's live, we have a very exciting subject we're going to talk about the search function at Snowflake and how to efficiently search for specific strings across your Snowflake environment. You could quickly identify a specific string and search for it across databases, schema, tables, and columns for various reasons, of course, faster troubleshooting, data discovery, compliance, governance, and whatnot. But to talk about how to efficiently use search function or any other functions to do search effectively at Snowflake, I have with me Himanshu Kandpal, who has 30 plus years of experience working in different database technologies, starting from Informix, SQL Server, Oracle, and using several ATL tools like Abnotio, DataStage, and so on. And currently, he works in the higher education space, helps migrating the ELT ETL process from DataStage or Oracle to Snowflake. And with that said, Himanshu, very excited to have you back again for another episode on a very interesting topic.
Hi, Vinu. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. And yes, I am excited.
Right. I remember because the last episode that you did was one of the highly engaged episodes with a lot of questions, if I remember. And thanks for taking all the questions for us. And I am expecting no pressure at all for today's episode. But I was just thinking before we get started on the search function, tell us a little bit about how exactly did you decide to write this blog that you wrote and like how are you working with the search function on a day to day?
So, Vinu, I was thinking of a way of, if somebody comes up and says, this is my value and try to see where this string is used. So one simple step would be, going through all the tables and writing a select for all the columns, all the columns for a table and all the tables in the schema and all the databases in your account. And I was going through Snowflake documentation and came through this search option. And I said, okay, you know what? This is good because this had an option of where you could just give the table name and say search for this string and it will give you the values. Though it did not satisfy the complete requirement, but at least you don't have to go or write a dynamic SQL going through each columns for a table. So that's why I said, okay, let me try this.
Got it. So you needed to search for specific strings from the entire database, like across databases and across schema. And
Yeah.
of course, writing a select statement for every single column and then like extending it for a whole database. And you don't know how many tables and schemas you have in a database sometimes. That can blow up really fast. So you chose to sort of write your own procedure.
Yeah. So what I did is, today's demo is going to go through that. What I did was created one first procedure where it will search through all your databases, all the schema in the database, and all the tables in the database,
Mhm.
and if and give you the count of that particular value and store it into a table. Okay.
I see.
With and what I'm doing is, having a batch ID generated for your each run. So let's say today I start my run and my batch ID is number one.
Mhm.
Then I call my second procedure, passing the batch ID. It will go read this table where I'm storing the data and go through all the data. And here the second procedure, I'm going to do a select and do a where clause. First procedure, I use a search function, and second procedure, I do a simple where, which anybody would have done that way.
Got it. Okay. And I think we will see both of them in action and see how they may be different and when to use what and what are the performance considerations or even cost considerations and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I know you have a few slides for us, so it's easy for us to follow through what you're going to be showing us.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to go over them?
So
Yeah.
let me share the slide.
Mhm. Yes, I think we see the demo screen,
This is
like the
demo. Okay,
Snowflake
one
UI.
second.
Yeah.
Let me share.
Mhm. While you pull that up, for the folks who are watching, If you have any questions, or if you already are using the search function effectively, or if you have any other specific requirements for which you're writing your own custom procedures and whatnot, tell us in the comments and send your questions in for Himanshu too.
Okay. I think you're able to see the presentation, correct?
Yep.
You have a requirement, and I'm for our example, I'm just taking a string, which is basically SSN. Okay. So, normal circumstances, I would have written a select statement going through each column for a table, and then, repeated for all the tables in the schema and all the schema in the databases, and then all the databases in my account.
Mm-hmm.
So Snowflake, we can use this search function, which can search from a variant, object, and array columns also. This is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what it does is, it tries to break your search string into token, and this function has 4 parameters, and one of the parameter where you can specify you want to search exactly the whole string or any of the characters that are present in the string.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this this is a search function, and first parameter will be how you want to search, whether you want to search
Uh-huh.
for a particular column name, or you just give star and you just give the string. The second parameter is your string.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth parameter is your search mode, which will tell you whether you want, or that means you want to tokenize your data or your string,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to do an exact and or a paraphrase. Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing a select search king for the value king in this. The
Mm-hmm.
string is king, and it will return a true. Okay,
Got
and the
it.
second example, this will return a false. So it returns true or false.
Mm-hmm.
And here there are the parameters, and that's it. I think I will go to the demo.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we can get started with the demo. So it's very interesting. It's a super simple function. It just takes 4 parameters, 2 of them mandatory, 2 of them optional. If you want to go into the analyzer mode and specific search mode, you can do that. If not, simply just give the name of the column you want to search in and the actual phrase that you're looking to search. And interesting. Yes, now let's see the demo and how this works in action.
Okay, so I will see this is, let's say this is my table,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to search for this string,
Mm-hmm.
and this is my search parameter,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying C star, which means C is an alias for the table, and this is my search,
Uh-huh.
and that's going to return me. So if you see, it has returned me multiple rows.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see here, there is only one column or one row which contains this value, the complete string, whereas
Uh-huh.
other might be having a partial.
Mm-hmm.
So in my second example, I'm doing with the search mode equal to and, which means search for the complete string. And this
Mm-hmm.
is going to return to me only one row, because only one row, and one row had multiple columns. That's a different thing, but one row had the
Mm-hmm.
complete string in it.
Got it. So when you do the search mode, and it really is looking for all of the entire match, honestly.
And the entire match, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And search is, it is case insensitive. So, it won't, whatever you pass, it will look for upper and lower cases also.
I see.
Okay. So what I have done is, I created one procedure, very
Mm.
simple one. it will go. This procedure assumes that you have access to all your databases and all your schema, because uh, you know or or if you want, you can just filter out by saying search only for a particular
Mm-hmm.
database.
I see. Yeah,
Okay.
specific DB and schema. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so sorry, and this is my second. Okay, this is my procedure where I'm passing my string. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, and it does a very simple loop where it is going over through all your databases. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
ignoring like sample data and the Snowflake database.
Mm-hmm.
And this is this part where I have commented, where you can filter out saying my search only for this database. If you want, you can go for a schema level also, but for our example, I'm just going through all the databases where whatever are there in my account.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I go in a loop where I select that particular table. Oh, you know what, before that, I select all the schemas.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the third one, in my third loop, I select all my tables in that schema. So once I have all my tables in the schema, I just
Mm-hmm.
go loop, going through all the tables and running this SQL, which is going to say select count from your this, where your search mode is equal to this. And I'm doing, in my example, this is with and. Otherwise, you can remove the and if you want to search for any values. And search has one more option. If you want to search multiple strings, that means, let's say you want to search for this and you want to search for another string, you can just add it with a comma and say that this is my other string, which is 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you have those, your select runs and you capture that data into a table. You
Mm-hmm.
capture data into a table. So I'm inserting it into a table, which is called search table data count, where a batch ID, which is generated every time you run, it captures your database name where you are running for the table, schema name, the table name, and the row count. And this is for your debugging purpose. I'm just capturing the SQL. String searched is one of the values that is captured. So it goes in a loop and it captures that. So this is the first procedure. And the second procedure is, once you have your all the tables captured, second procedure is pretty simple. It is doing what you would have done under a normal circumstances, which means you would have written a SQL saying that where uh, search for all the columns, column 1, column 2, column n. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Second procedure, you pass in the batch ID, and it is going to use this batch ID and read from your table where you have stored your search data table count. Okay. And then
Got it.
it searches, and same thing, it goes again, captures the database name, the schema name, and then it goes to the information schema and looks for your data type, because this is important. When you try to search for a data type which is not text, variant, or an array or an object, you get an error. So I am filtering out only for this particular tables. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Once I do that, and then it is simple, where we just go and generate the
Mm-hmm.
SQL where you are searching for this count. Okay. And this is also inserted and or stored into a particular table, which is called search table column count. So that this table has your detail for each and every column wherever it was searched. And I think those are the two procedures. Procedure one captures all your table, and
Mm-hmm.
procedure takes that whatever was captured in those table, reads
Mm-hmm.
reads the table one by one, and uh, goes over that.
Loops through them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think this is great. Um,
So
I have
should
a
I go?
question.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
before you proceed further, I feel like there is this one question from Tuan. who's trying to understand, is the strength of the search function essentially searching for strings across the views, tables, schemas, and database? I know we covered this, but maybe it's good to reinforce or reiterate that.
Yes, it is. In this example, it is going through all the tables, but you can put a filter and you can go through all the views also.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say the search function essentially helps you search for a specific string in a table or a view? But if you want to do
Yeah.
the same thing for an entire database or entire schema, which has multiple tables or multiple views, what you have done here is essentially write a procedure that sort of loops through all the tables in the schema or all the schemas in the database and really, like, tackles this one step at a time, if that's helpful. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Carry on with what you were going to say.
Okay. So, I will just go through a demo of this. And let's say I want to search for this particular string, which was there in our example. So what I'm going to do is call my first procedure, which is named as search data in all the DB, and that's it. So let's run this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, succeeded. Now there is one table where it is storing, all the batch ID. I think it has a couple of columns. So I will just get my batch ID for my run. And it is 1003. It ran today. Okay. So I'll take this number, and 1003 is my batch ID. I'm pass. Oh, you know what? Before that, I will show you what was captured by this. So if I go and table count, this will be the list of tables where that data was present. And if you see here, the row count will tell you how many, which tables had more than one rows. Okay.
Got it.
Now
Yes.
I will take this 1003 and run this. What it is going to do is going to go through a loop of this 1003 and search for all the tables. And when the sample code and the whole demo has been uploaded into the Medium article also, which will be shared in the post. Okay, so this was completed. Now let's see. This is my table, which is storing the data for the counts. And if you see here, I should have added this row count as the first column, but there are some tables where the row count or some table where the column count for that particular value is 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say that order by, I'll just say where. Okay, so if you see, I just give me only the rows where the row count is greater than 1. And these are my tables and the list of columns where this particular string matched and the row
The
count was greater than 0. So this is what I want. And once I have this list, I know that my that particular string is present in the following columns, tables, schema, and the database.
Yep, this is perfect. And yeah, I think, like you said, this is great demo. Firstly, all of the contents of the demo is available in a Medium blog. And I see that we have also posted the link to Himanshu's Medium blog in the comments for folks asking for that. Please check it out. And yes, one last question. I'm opening up the floor for questions and comments for folks who are watching. But before we get there, I have my question too. Himanshu, I know we talked about using search versus just using, where clause and searching for strings in a where clause. And how did you decide between one over the other? Or what should I know when I'm going to try this out today?
So basically, this is useful when, let's say, you have a 200 column table
Mm-hmm.
and you want to search for that particular value.
Mm-hmm.
One option is, you just write a dynamic SQL where you go through all the columns and put this value, your string in the where clause, and try to get your data,
Mm-hmm.
or you can use this search. So this will be beneficial. And I did a small test, and I did not see much cost difference between using a search and using a where clause. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I know, although if you sort of look up under the hood of how the where clause, I mean, searching for a specific value in a column using a where clause versus running it through search. And essentially, when you put the same condition in a where clause and look for a text match, Snowflake is trying to use the micro partition metadata and use that for pruning, like the min and max specific column and whatnot, to do this filtering in where clause. Whereas when you do it in this using the search function, search is a proper text analysis function. It has a tokenizer. It tokenizes the text that you're giving in, and it by default takes care of the case insensitivities, or if you have few words prior and after, and there is so much more you can do with search function because of the nature of it, right? It has a tokenizer built in and it is a proper semantic search. And so you may want to explore search if you have like a full-blown text analysis workflows that you're thinking of, similar to what Himanshu is doing here. That said, I think I will maybe give a few seconds for folks if you have any questions before we let go of Himanshu. I know he's been doing a lot of side experiments too, testing out where versus search, and we probably will hear more from that very soon. It looks like, yes, Tuan's questions answered. Mark, thank you so much. And Shahab has a question. He says, how does it deal with masked data? Have we tried that out before?
I have not tried with masked data.
Mm-hmm. I
Okay,
guess.
so masking policy is role based. Am I right? So I think it should not. If you don't have access, you won't be able to see it. So
Yeah. So
uh,
masking.
yeah, at least that's how from the security point of view. If you don't have access, you will not be able to see it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, honestly, because we
Yeah.
already don't have access to this text under the hood. So what is under this mask? I don't think if we will be able to. But with that said, maybe it's a good time for us to go test it out. So Shahab, if you do end up testing it out with masked data, please let us know in the comments. Or I don't know, ping Himanshu. He's always excited to hear from fellow Snowflake experts and learn more. I know he talked so much about continuous learning, and he's been in this field for a few decades, and he's still like trying out new things and doing weekend experiments, coming here sharing his lessons with us. So yes, firstly, I like the spirit of learning, and Shahab, if you do get to test it out, let us know. And with that said, I think yes, Mark also thinks it probably does not consider it in the search. I love how the community sort of comes in and like we all learn from each other. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Shahab. And yes, with that said, we are at the end of the episode. Firstly, thanks, Himanshu, for coming to the show again and sharing your learning and wisdom, can I say, with us on how to use Snowflake effectively. We truly appreciate this. And yeah, thank you so much. For folks watching, there is a Medium blog, link in the comments. Please do check it out. And I don't know, like, comment, let Himanshu know how useful his Medium blog was for you so he can keep on writing more and share his learnings.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Vinu. Thank you, Kanwal. Thank you.
Mhm.